Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of my McLaren Return to Glory career mode. Today we're here for the Texas Grand Prix in Austin and we are here to hopefully try and keep fighting for the World Championship. Now before we jump into it guys, I want to say if you're going to enjoy today's episode, I have a like target. Let's try and smash over 1,000 likes and I'll drop another episode tomorrow. So that's your objective for today. Besides that, we have a format change for today's episode. Now, before we jump into that, I want to quickly plug the last episode, guys. Link in the top right, Qatar. It was a sprint and also race-long battle versus Russell, our main championship rival, and it could determine the championship, so go check it out. But yeah, this weekend we have a modified format, and it is another sprint weekend, and I want to try and give this a go, and I want your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments once you've seen how it works. So, first things first, upgrades. I'm going to go ahead and do an ultimate ERS upgrade for future races. I'm going to rush it as well to hopefully get it on the car for the next race in Mexico. And we then had a marketing event, which basically we had to choose what to do with merchandise. I went for the middle option, the lower cost one, and to basically bring some merch in but not spend too much cash. And yeah, with that we jump into now the race weekend, and we also got confirmation of an upgrade for the crankshaft, which is engine power, so that's going to give us a little boost as we now have officially, I believe, maxed out all the engine power upgrades, and yeah, we're looking pretty good. Forecast is dry, and the key thing here is the forecast for qualifying. The part of the new format is going to be switching to a one-shot qualifying, so we'll give that a go in a bit. Aston Martin are the best team, so they brought a small upgrade this weekend. We've brought a pretty big package, and we're actually level with Mercedes for second place, very, very close. And if we look at, in more detail here, the championship standings, you can see Russell is starting to become the favourite. He's been very strong the last couple of races. Hamilton can't match him, and we are now just 20 points behind Lewis to get second place in the Drivers' Championship. The constructors, Mercedes, have one hand on the trophy pretty much at this stage, so we need a big result. The last race, Lando DNF'd from the sprint and therefore finished 10th in the race, a long way back. As you can see, I'm going to switch to the one-shot qualifying format for this episode. If you guys like it, we'll keep it this way for the sprint weekends only. For the regular weekends, we'll keep it on the full three-part qualifying, but for the sprints, from now on, we'll do the one-shot to kind of mix up the format and bring something different to the table. So, with that done, let me know down below in the comments what your thoughts are, and we're going to jump into practice and get this out of the way. So, pace-wise, looking very good. It seems to be a good track for us in Austin, Texas, and we've got decent pace. We hit our practice program targets quite easily, had okay tyre wear, fuel consumption on the higher end, looking at 47 kg of fuel, give or take, so definitely a bit higher, but for the most part, pretty decent. Consistent pace as well, and I think this could be a good weekend for us, although to be fair, Qatar was also very strong for us as well, but we had one big issue, acceleration, and we were so fast through the corners, but we kept on getting done on the straights. So hopefully the adjustments I've made us up this weekend might help us out. I've seen some suggestions to lower the difficulty, but we'll see how that goes in the next few races. For now, here is the setup I'm running. This is from the time trial leaderboards. I'm making some final adjustments before qualifying starts. And yeah, we're going to go for, like I said, a single one-shot qualifying, and we're going to see how that format works. I've turned the ghost off because I find it distracting, so bear that in mind. But yeah, let's get to it. So here we go. Lights are on, and we're going to get ready for our flyer, and we're going to see if we can deliver. So underway then, DRS open on the pit straight, up to turn 1. The black box on the right is your reference, brake down to third gear, try to get a later apex to make sure your exit is good, avoid wall spin as we plunge through turn 2, back up to turn 3 into the S section. Important here to use lots of curb to really open up the line through all of these, taking a downshift in the last one to open the left to close out sector 1. Keep it in 5th as we then head into this off-cambered right, use lots of the inside curve to really open up the exit as we then go back downhill through the kink down to the hairpin. Brake just before the 50, about 60-65 meters down to third gear, pick up the traction, be very smooth on the throttle as this is a very key traction zone. DRS open, currently P7, but sector 3 was my fastest sector in practice, so 100 meter board is your reference here. Slam on the anchors, down a third, cut this inside curb a lot, you can get away with it in the game. And now we begin sector 3 as we head into the low speed section. Short shift to full, smooth on the powers. Lando now P1 in qualifying, heading through the double lefts. Important here again to get good traction. I should have kept it in third and got the drive. Instead I short shifted to fourth and lost a bit of momentum. Now through the triple right-hander into this blind left, down 2 gears, turning at the black box, and then final corner, try to get lots of the inside curb to gain time, and up to the line, open the DRS, keep the traction clean, and it's going to be, I think, P6. By the looks of it, yes it is, so there we go. P6, not too bad, definitely gets us in the race and gets us in the mix. As you can see in terms of the final qualifying positions, Hamilton on pole, Lando just misses out by 100th. That's how close it was. Leclerc P3 and championship leader George Russell P4. Our rival right now, Carlos Sainz, P5, and we finish in P6. To be fair, it wasn't a bad lap, pretty good lap. There was one small error through the double left-hander in sector 3, which I mentioned, the exit. Wasn't that great, but besides that, it was a pretty decent lap. And yeah, I'm happy with that. So as you can see in the rivalry, we're currently up by a point on Sainz, so that's going to be a pretty close one heading into the end of the season. And then, of course, after qualifying, it is a sprint weekend, so we took part in FP2 and then finished the practice programs, therefore bringing our points total to just under 2,000 R&D points. So guys, qualifying done, new format done, let's get to the sprint and let's get into the action and the main event, and let's see how it goes in Texas.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Russell, Sainz, Martinez, Gasly, Oscar Piastri, Bottas, Ocon, Perez, Verstappen, Albon, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Joe, Teo Pourchaire, De Vries, and Logan Sargent. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint.
Right, here we are, just trying to get the last bit of tire temperature in the sprint, making sure we can hopefully get a good start. Lando starts from P2 behind Lewis Hamilton. I'm hoping Lando can jump him and hopefully win and get some points back after Qatar, which was a real kick in the nuts for his personal championship, and also for us in the constructors. We could have really opened up a gap to third place in Ferrari, but it is what it is. Anyway, we're going to line her up. I'm hoping to maybe even crack the podium. That would be nice, but I'm not going to get too optimistic. I'll take a top 4, and that's fine. The main race is afterwards. I'm going to try and get as many points as possible. Ideally, I want to try and beat Russell. That's all we're looking for here. So let's get to it and let's send it. Here we go. Race start key, uphill start, which is going to make it even more important. Russell gets off poorly, Hamilton gets off poorly, Lando and Leclerc side by side. Into turn 1, we get crossed up, slight contact with Hamilton as we were in the middle of a 3 wide. Russell converts a poor start into P3, Lando leads, and we are P5 as we jump Carlos Sainz off the start. Let's see if we can hold on to this lot. I'm expecting to have bad pace. Not sure why, I've just got a bad feeling, but I could be wrong. Also, we might have to change cameras if we have the same issue as last season with the timing tower on the left. I've made it more transparent this season to avoid that issue, and so far it seems to be working, but in the case that it weren't to work around here, then we'll have to adjust it. Out the hairpin, as you expect, the AI will get the acceleration, but then at top speed we start to cook as we pull to the inside of Hamilton. Hamilton tries to move across in the braking a little bit. I'm trying to open up the line so we clash as we cross lines, but we make the move and get P4. Happy with this, good start, pretty much as good as I could have hoped for, except for Russell still being ahead of us, which is the only downside. Ooh, both me and Russell are both out of shape. I'm going for it. Down the inside. Sprint race rules, which means we're going to get aggressive. And that is a key move for the championship, if we can finish ahead of George this race. Russell, though, fights back around the outside. DRS will now be enabled. We may have just lost DRS to Leclerc, which may be an issue on the back straight.
Okay, DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Russell, Hamilton, hopefully can battle amongst themselves. But we are not going to have the RS on the back straight here, so we've got to try and open a gap to George. Yeah, George is right there. We haven't really got much of a gap. We do get a really good exit though, to be fair. I think George had a slight moment. You never know, he may be under pressure now from Lewis. This gives us a bit of a gap and a bit of respite. Leclerc now pressuring Lando with DRS. Personal best. I've managed to just break DRS with Russell on the pit straight. Yellow flag further back. Also Russell back in DRS range. I've got no battery left. Magnussen out. Leclerc about to challenge Norris. Russell closing, but not enough. Our VMAX is pretty good. It's just the acceleration I've got to use the battery in. Russell much quicker at this stage. Goes through on the inside. Hamilton's probably going to get through as well. Gasly not quite close enough for DRS. Russell through. I'm trying not to use the battery in the initial phase, but we're going to have to play the long game here. Maybe Hamilton can challenge George, but right now we just don't have enough speed. Here we go then. Battle for the lead. Also battle between the Mercedes boys, which will help us. Leclerc takes P1. Russell holds on to P3. Although Lando's fighting back, this might bring everyone back into play, which I'm not sure is a good thing.
Caution, caution.
Oh my god, again. This is getting ridiculous.
There's an incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags.
This is single-handedly costing us the championship as well, or costing us any chance to, fight for the championship. 2 sprints in a row and Lando's leading, and that is going to ruin his entire race. How many times has that happened this season? That is ridiculous. Hamilton going for it on Russell again. We need Lewis to finish ahead of George, we really do. Hopefully open the floodgates. I know I can pass maybe one of these Mercs, but it's going to take some work. Try to get the cut back there on Russell. We'll definitely try to pass him. The reason I didn't pass Hamilton is because he's my only hope to stop Russell. I'm not fast enough. Although now we may have a chance. This hairpin has to be perfect. Hamilton's trying to make a break for it. Russell doesn't quite have the pace to match. I wonder if he's a bit lower on battery. Russell doesn't have DRS.
Okay, we've only got 1 lap of fuel remaining.
This might be our golden chance. Oh, massively outbroke myself. Carried way too much speed. Russell all over the shot. I'm going for it. Aggressive. Important for the championship. We want to keep our hopes alive. I had to go for it. Just like in Qatar. Going for the lunges. And we get it on the last lap. That was key. Completely messed up the clean, normal overtake. Now we've got to bring the car home. And that will be our starting position for the main race. I'm gutted about Lando, man. I really, really am. It just changes our season so much.
Yes, great drive, great drive. Everyone here is really happy with that performance. Well done, mate.
Well, you don't need me to remind you that Formula One is now so beloved in the United States that we race here 3 times a year. But let's give respect to COTA, or the Circuit of the Americas, to give it its full name. This place laid the foundations for this moment and still remains the host of the US Grand Prix. It's the Circuit of the Americas then, situated 14 miles outside of the great city of Austin. This is a 3.6 mile lap with 20 corners, 10 to the left and 10 to the right, and top speeds of around 200 miles per hour. Overtaking opportunities are available into turns 1 and 12, especially with that rear wing DRS wide open. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Martinez, Russell, Gasly, Sainz, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Bottas, Ocon, Hülkenberg, Verstappen, Albon, Zhou, Théo Pourchaire, De Vries, Sargent, Tsunoda, Norris. And Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Okay, here we go. Time for the race. Now, this one is interesting because we have a couple of, okay strategies. Not really a lot between them, a second difference. The soft medium is a bit quicker, but I think I'm leaning towards starting on the medium. I think we could go for the soft tire anyway at the end if we wanted to, so it doesn't really matter that much. So we're going to go and start on the medium again, and hopefully we can make it work. I'm assuming if this is the default strategy, the AI are going to start on softs, or those around us, so we may be in trouble, but I want to try and make it work and see how it goes. Fuel-wise, I'm running about 2.3 extra based off the practice program. We're just a little bit over the safe margin of 47 and a bit kg. But yeah, as for the race, my target is to beat Russell. That's really it. I don't really care where we finish. I just got to try and beat George and get some points off him. As for Lando, it takes a sting out of the DNF in the sprint a little bit, knowing he had a grid penalty this race, so he would have dropped back anyway. But even still, could have been a few extra points in the constructors had we finished in a race-winning position. So yeah, let's get to work. Let's try and send it. Let's try and fight back, and let's see if we can hopefully have a good race. Fingers crossed, my race pace is a bit better than my sprint pace because we might need it. Well, as expected, everyone is on softs. I'm going to guess the top 10, or except me, top 10 are on softs, and then P11 backwards or mediums or hards. Right, let's do this. It's going to be a very tough first 10 laps, I think. Lights are on, and they're out. It's another good start. Hamilton off to a poor one. Russell off to a poor start as well.
Okay, we're monitoring somewhere on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power.
We get lunged by Sainz into turn 1, but we hold on. So P2 for us. Now we'll see if we can hold pace on this medium. I'm not expecting to. I was struggling on the same compound in the sprint, so this may be more of a struggle, but we'll try and do the best we can and see if we can maintain pace. The key thing is though the Mercs haven't got away that well, so that's good news for us. We'll probably go for the alternate strat, so we'll aim for a soft tyre for the next stint, if I can make this medium work well enough. Sainz trying to get through there, but has a poor exit as a result. We're probably not going to hold on to the closed DRS, we're probably going to lose it, so just got to try and do my own thing. Race management will be key. We may have to let some cars go for the sake of trying to keep a decent position. Anyway, I'm going to focus up. I can't really talk right now. Hamilton P4 overtaking Gasly. They've lost a lot of time. I've only just looked now at the timing monitor. So we are on our own here with Sainz. Leclerc out of DRS range. I'm trying to push after him, but as you'd expect, we're just lacking a little bit of pace right now at this stage of the race. So not exactly ideal. But the pace isn't terrible. I don't know what's happening behind, but Gasly has broken away from Hamilton. There's a lot of time loss happening back there, and that is good news for us. Hamilton, I think, may have damage based off the amount of time he's losing right now, which this could make a whole race for us, and also may help Lando as well. DRS for Sainz, but he's nowhere near enough, so we'll be okay here. Hamilton's got damage. Russell has overtaken him and is now catching back up, but Hamilton's holding up all the traffic behind. I just wish Russell could have lost a few more places or got held, or maybe he got damage. I think Russell's got some sort of damage as well. I'm faster than Russell, which is very, very weird. So Russell clearly has broken away. Hamilton's got more damage, but Russell I think is still hurt, and I think is still in trouble. We've broken Sainz's DRS. We'll see if we can keep it that way. Sainz making a small mistake out of the S section and losing a couple of tenths on exit. Also just starting to catch Leclerc now a little bit. Let's see if maybe the tyre choice can now start to benefit us a little bit. I was wrong about Leclerc, he's still got a bit of pace. We're pulling away from the Sainz though, so we're locking in P2, but Leclerc still holding on. He must have just made a small mistake or had a bit of an off lap, but he's still strong, very quick. It just feels like the AI don't have any tyre wear, or at least Leclerc doesn't anyway. It'd be nice if they had some tyre wear to counteract their acceleration. Leclerc's pace just isn't dropping, whereas I'm starting to struggle on tyres now. Okay, Carlos Sainz pits and so does Pierre. So the pit stops are now beginning. Hopefully Lando pits his laps and gets out of the way of the traffic. He's stuck in that big train. If he could just pit now, he'd finish in the points and undercut most of them. So right now I've got a decent gap to Russell and also Pierre Gasly. Sainz has pit, he's rejoined, I believe, in traffic in that train. So I'm going to try and go for that soft tyre later on. So we're going to take a bit of pain. I may be conceding the win to Leclerc, but I want to try and put that soft on and try something different rather than have Leclerc be on mediums in the next stint and I'm going to be on, you know, hards. I'd rather see if I can fight back with a soft tire and see if I have the same type of performance as the AI. Probably not, but I want to give it a go. So we've got our margin, we may as well use it. We've got a nice gap. So Leclerc should be in this lap, considering he's pulled away from me on this lap. Hasn't had any noticeable tyre drop off. Been faster than me every single lap, the only car to be faster than me. And Lando should be in this lap as well. Right, a lot of those cars in that train have boxed, including Hamilton. I'm just hoping Lando can jump him. We need Lando to pass Hamilton. Okay, so Russell finally in. Hamilton still at the front of that train. Lando still stuck in it. I wish I could tell McLaren when to pit rather than let them choose, because the AI makes some stupid decisions sometimes. There's clearly a car that's struggling. So Lando's going to be stuck in that train for the rest of the race, which means no points for him, when he could have easily got a top 6 if he just pit earlier and cleared the traffic. As for us, we're still okay on this tyre, still no tyre wear warning, so we're looking okay. Sainz is gaining, but not as much as I thought. He might still just be ahead of me by the time we pit, but we'll get him back on a fresh soft. Hamilton pits again, I've just noticed. So that's going to now free up that entire train, so let's see if Lando can go racing now from now until the end. I think Sainz might have damage. Gasly is overtaking him, so is Russell. He's going backwards. Russell fastest lap. I wonder if he's got his car fixed and his pace in order. We may have to react to that, to be fair. Okay, Russell past Pierre. I'm going to go one more lap and then I'm going to box. We'll be behind, but I'm hoping I can still get close enough to fight. Low-key also hoping for a virtual safety car or a safety car, but I don't think it's going to happen now. I actually don't feel too bad in these tyres now, but we're just bleeding too much time to everyone, especially Russell. We may be able to get out ahead of Sainz here. Sainz, I think, either is still on the hard tyre or has some sort of damage. Gasly's pretty quick on that hard tyre, so I have to try and beat him. But yeah, we're going to have to go on the chase now to see if we can get that P2 back. Russell, yet again, recovering and limiting the damage in the championship. Right, quick stop please. Tyre wear was 64, right rear. In we go. 2.2 as always, standard procedure. And we're going to be out behind Pierre comfortably. And now ahead of Sainz by some margin, so there we go.
That was our last stop, no more scheduled pit stops, let's go.
Now I hope the soft tyres work for me as well as they have worked for the AI. That's entirely what I'm expecting now. Hopefully we'll get equal treatment. 10 laps to go, 11 technically if you include this one. Let's get to work and let's get that second place back. And hopefully also get the extra point for the fastest lap, that'll be nice. Right, here we go. I'm actually going to pass him here, to be fair. We'll still get DRS on the back straight as we were waiting behind at the detection point, and there we go. And we can race after George. Well, we just got the fastest lap by literally less than a tenth. Only just got it. Yellow flag, that's got to be Pierre.
Okay, clear.
What a shame for Pierre Gasly, but that is his race over. Will that trigger a late safety car maybe, a late VSC? Nope. Right, DRS on George. And we go slightly quicker on that lap. Not sure if it'll be enough for a point, but hopefully it is. I've given myself an extra lap. I chose to not pass George so that I could save battery. So we've now got a fair amount which we can use to hopefully also not just pass but also pull away, which is the key thing. Russell's going to be strong until the end. He may even come back at us at the end, so it's important now that we try to pass in the most efficient way possible and then drop him permanently out of DRS range for as long as we can. You can see the Mercedes is very good in straight line speed, very, very good. But we'll go up the inside and take P2 back. Russell will have DRS on the pit straight most likely, but then we'll see if we can try and drop him over the next lap or so. We'll use the battery up. Let's keep pushing to build up a gap as much as possible. Leclerc's a long, long way away and is now hitting traffic. Traffic in the form of Magnussen. There we go, he gets out of the way very nicely. Yellow flag, oh my god. Leclerc!
Caution, caution.
It's Leclerc out of the race!
Okay, be aware there's an incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. Leclerc out. This now puts us in a winning position.
Green flag.
Only bad thing is Russell's second. Again, damage limitation. But we are on course to get one back on him. What we lost in Qatar, losing the sprint and the race, finishing second behind him in both races. We're going to get both of those results back in the very next race. Still not ideal, but I'm not complaining.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
Yep, just got to get this tyre to the end now. Russell's now slightly quicker than me, but we've still got decent tyres to hold on. Just got to manage it. Only bad thing is, or what I'm worried about, is George may be taking away my fastest lap because he's using full power and is going pretty quick. So we'll see exactly where things lie. Obviously, it's a reversal of Qatar. Not the exact same points. We finished third in the sprint and Russell finished fourth, but we managed to one-up him in both races, which is exactly what happened. So we do manage to limit the damage, and also we are going to get the extra point to also help fight that. So there we go. We win in Texas.
Ah, fantastic drive. That's just fantastic. Amazing. You deserved that race win. Well done, mate.
McLaren have pulled it off. They've won in spectacular fashion here today. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I feel consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure. And no doubt, they'll be celebrating tonight.
So race done then, and to be fair, we are the highest point scorer of the weekend. We outscored Russell by 9 points overall this entire weekend. We also did pick up the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, so we do get the extra point. So a very good weekend. We got bailed out by Leclerc's retirement, which, you know, Leclerc dominated the weekend. He was so quick. I will say one thing. You're starting to notice now that AI are having failures. We're getting to the end of the season now, components are getting old, and the cars are failing. Lando back-to-back retirements, Gasly out today, Leclerc out today. It's happening all the time. And Russell had a couple of back-to-back DNFs as well recently, Hamilton in the last race. It's all happening, and we could be in this to the very end, you never know, but we're going to need to get another couple of good results and outscore Russell to really have a chance. But yeah. That's the overall weekend results. As for the race, Lando did actually recover to P10, so that Leclerc retirement did just help him out and bail him out. Hamilton P12 in the end. I just wish Lando could have pit laps earlier or later, just not on the same lap as Hamilton to kind of rejoin behind him. And Lando could have easily finished P3. I mean, looking at the gap, easily P3. Yeah, either way, let's look at the standings because this is the key thing. So, we're now second in the Drivers' Championship. We've overtaken Hamilton, and we're 59 points behind Russell. There's 5 races to go, so 125 plus fastest lap points, 130 points up for grabs. It could still happen, but we're going to have to win a couple of races and make sure Russell doesn't maybe get second place in those. Lando, 10th place, is now 20 points behind Piastri, 30 points behind Perez, and 50 points behind Bottas, and 60 points behind Sainz, as all the numbers line up numerically there for, you know, a nice round number. And he's also 50 points ahead of Pierre Gasly, so there you go, there's a nice little bit of maths in that one. Constructors' Championship, now we have a bit of breathing space. We're 20 points ahead of Ferrari. Still not great. Mercedes pretty much have a hand on the trophy now, but we'll keep fighting, we won't give up. It's annoying because Lando has been so unlucky and not his own fault. He could have overtaken Hamilton today or done a different strategy, but that's just the game. But in terms of his pace, he was going to probably win the sprint in Qatar and in USA, which is automatically 16 points extra. And then at minimum a podium in both races, so another 15 points in each. That's 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 2 15s is 30. Lando could have had 46 more points, which, if you do the math, that puts him on 147, 153, which would be just 3 points or 4 points behind Bottas and only a few more behind Sainz. So Lando would be right there. Instead, he's got 50 points less, which is really annoying. So, yeah, either way, guys, that is it for the weekend. Let me know what you think of the format change for the sprints, and if we should keep it moving forward for future seasons. And yeah, guys, a great weekend, very happy, and we do the best we can. So, guys, like the episode. Let's try and smash over 1,000 likes. Subscribe for more daily F1 content on my channel. And yeah, as always, a big shout out to you guys, the channel members, for supporting. As always, check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. And yeah, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care, and that's goodbye from me.